Good morning or afternoon, and welcome to the DFS Army YouTube channel. I'm Razzle11, and you can find me on X at Razzle11Grinds. We are here to take a look at some pitching for today, the 18th of July. It is Saturday. We have a 3-game early, 7-game question mark main slate, and a 4-game night slate. Super weird spread out of games today. Super interesting situation on the main with a game being moved up. Plus, then obviously losing the pit game because of yesterday's PPD. So that now they play a doubleheader. Just a whole lot going on. And then there's some rain in New York as well that creates some issues. So, from my understanding, the rain in New York is the worst to deal with on today's slate of games. A reminder that this is a first look at the pitching options on these slates, and I will be looking at DraftKings as that is where a majority of my action is. If you play in FanDuel, cut my pool in half so pricing isn't quite as tight. You don't have to be as creative. It allows you to get stacks you want with an upper tier-ish pitcher. Speaking of pitching, which is what we're here for, very weird breakdown of pitching today. Each slate has some guys at the top that make a ton of sense, and then they have a bunch of guys that really don't make a ton of sense. So it should be clear cut, but a lot of times that's not how slates break down. We'll start with this 3-game early or turbo or whatever. I think FanDuel referred to it as its early slate. Taj Bradley, the best pitching option on the slate. I don't know. Like, wind's technically blowing out to the right field corner in Wrigley. But historical ballpark data says it should play to the under, and there's a decrease in home runs and runs. I don't know. I think Taj Bradley's certainly somebody I'm going to be playing. He's been phenomenal of late. A couple 10-plus strikeout performances over his last 3. Can have home run issues, and that's, where I have some concern. It's going with his K upside, but his home run issues, and comparing it to Davis Martin, who's looked really bad the last couple. Just 2 strikeouts and 7 walks over his last 2 starts. And he's taking on a team that doesn't really strike out a whole lot. So it's just kind of weighing the differences between the two. I lean Bradley, but I think Martin might be an alright play. Obviously, given that it's a 3-game slate, I think we just have to use him. Matthew Boyd's certainly capable of doing strong things. Being a left-handed pitcher with the wind direction probably helps him a little bit. Certainly still has plenty of upside. Just did it against Baltimore 2 starts ago. But the Minnesota Twins score runs. His ERA is over 5, but he's still averaging 16 DK points per game at home. More fantasy points per game at home than on the road, which is weird considering he's been roughly a better pitcher on the road. A few more base runners, though, when pitching on the road, which is a little annoying. But I think we got to use Matthew Boyd as well. But to me, that's where it kind of ends. I'm not really using Shane Bieber. He doesn't look good in his return. I think the White Sox can get to him. And then we have the Coors game where Rhett Lauder, I don't really think he has enough upside. Not really a K guy. 3 strikeouts over his last 3 starts. That's 3 total in those 3. But he went 3 innings, 2 innings, 2 innings as well. I'm not really sure what's up, but he did have 8 strikeouts against Milwaukee. But he also gave up 12 base runners in 4 2/3. So I just don't think we can take pitching in Coors in this spot. Chicano's had some decent starts at home, but I don't know. Like, if somebody wanted to be crazy and play with some Chicano because the Reds strike out a ton, sure, but I'm not getting there. But I at least understand the desire to. Main slate. FanDuel has moved this game up to 2:05 Central Time, and it is starting the slate at 2:05, so they're including this game. I'm not sure what DraftKings is doing yet. I can refresh it here and see if they've updated it. I still don't see anything. They removed the Pitt and Cleveland game because it moved back a few hours because of the doubleheader. We're going to need an update from them on this game. The problem is there's supposedly some rain coming an hour or so into it, which obviously makes things less appealing from a pitching standpoint. But we get Luzardo, who has, what I would say the highest ceiling on the slate out of anybody. I mean, essentially 30 plus fantasy points in 4 of his last 5 starts. Just been absolutely dominant. One start against the Mets, 17 DK points. Allowed a few base runners, but was pretty good. His home numbers have been pretty bad, and if we take out the rain part, the forecast in Philadelphia is excellent for hitting. It's going to be a tough spot, but he just has the largest ceiling on the slate. On the other side, Sean Manaea, coming off of his best performance, still gave up 2 home runs and but did manage 24 fantasy points. Philadelphia is struggling enough right now. I think there's some upside for him, but again, we have the weather and all of the home run potential and all that. Like, there's just a ton of risk. And obviously, any minute we could find out from DK that they're just deciding to not include that game on the slate. St. Louis, Arizona. Brendan Pfaadt, not somebody I'm going to in this spot. His first start back, or second start back, I guess, technically, was really good against San Diego. He was decent against the Dodgers, but just not a lot of K upside. 2 strikeouts in 2 out of his last 3 starts. I'm not getting there against St. Louis. His numbers at home have been pretty bad. Just not somebody I want to consider. Dustin May on the other side. I can't believe I'm going to be considering Dustin May. He's been worse on the road. Pretty bad on the road, actually. Arizona, not a huge K opponent, but I think they've struggled enough offensively that given the slate that we have, the situations with the weather, everything, I think May's got to be in play, and it doesn't feel great, at least for me. Texas, Houston, Mackenzie Gore, obviously huge upside, struggles on the road, and can just blow up at any point. Now, he does keep the ball in the ballpark better when pitching on the road, but he walks a ton of dudes. Atlanta's super Jekyll and Hyde. They dominated last night, but they can disappear against left-handed pitching. Gore hasn't looked good, so I understand if you don't want to ride the Mackenzie Gore train at all, but I'm going to sprinkle him in just because he has massive upside, and the slate kind of calls for taking some chances. Owen Murphy on the other side, going to make what I believe is his first major league start. Or I'm not sure if he started this one, only went 3 innings. I'd have to go back and look, but he's been working as a starter in the minors with full pitch counts, 6 innings, etc. Probably going to be fairly popular, and we're just going to continue to pick on Texas, I guess. I initially thought I was going to pass on Owen Murphy, but pretty solid strikeout numbers in the minor leagues as a 22-year-old this season. So Owen Murphy, given the slate the way it is, becomes one of the chalkier pitchers in my pool. Tampa Bay, Boston, we have more weather to worry about. Wind blowing straight out to center. Ian Seymour's had some massive performances, and then he had a dud last time out. I want to use him. I want to sprinkle him in as long as the weather is clear enough for us, but I will be using some Boston. Does 27 strikeouts in, 18 innings. Something that stands out a lot. So I want to sprinkle in some Seymour. Patrick Sandoval, glad to see him back. I'm just not using him against Tampa Bay in this one. Baltimore, Houston, Arrighetti. Last I looked, he's going to be fairly popular. I'm not getting there. Home run issues, 9 home runs allowed over his last 4 starts. I think the Orioles hit some home runs against him. He also has 5+ walks in 2 out of his last 3 starts. Just some recent trends. Obviously, he has not pitched in 10 days. Probably helps him a little bit, clears mind, get him kind of rested, refocused, but still, I am going to ride the Baltimore train in this one. On the other side, Trevor Rogers. Horrendous start to the season. Actually, good start, and then it fell off. Has really picked it up recently. Absolutely dominated the Dodgers. 1 earned run or fewer in 4 straight starts. 2 earned runs or fewer in 6 out of his last 7. Strikeouts still aren't a huge number. Some walks are creeping up. The opposing lineup has Yordan Alvarez. That's always a super dangerous spot. But surprisingly, this Houston squad is not as strong against left-handed pitching as you might think, considering they are fairly right-hand heavy. So I will be sprinkling in some Trevor Rogers. San Diego, Kansas City, I have no interest in either pitcher in this one. Pretty good spot for offenses from my understanding. Miami and Milwaukee. I think I'm going to pass on Shane Drohan. It might come back to bite me. I might have to reconsider, because it might be a slate where 16 to 18 from our SP2 is all we need, given all the weather issues. But if all games do end up playing, I don't know that 16 to 18 is going to get it done. But I'm not interested in Drohan. He's probably going to be fine, but that's just kind of my large field GPP mind thinking that he just does not offer us the upside in the spot. I will be using Max Meyer. Kind of hit a wall a little bit in end of June and into July. His starts weren't terrible. 2 earned runs or fewer allowed in 7 straight starts. His strikeouts just kind of came down. It is a dangerous spot against Milwaukee, but I believe in Max Meyer. I have for years. He's an extreme reverse splits guy, and I think that comes into play against Milwaukee fairly well, depending on what kind of lineup they send out there. But I do expect there to be a fair number of left-handed bats just based on how Milwaukee handles things. And again, Pitt and Cleveland not going to count on this slate because of the time change. We're going to refresh. They did move up the Mets-Philly game. Time-wise, they have not listed anything, so I assume they are going to rock that game scoring, at least for now. Night slate, 4 games. I'm going to be honest, the Yankees-Dodgers weather looks pretty bad. Both guys would be a sprinkle because they do offer upside. Dodgers against lefties aren't as intimidating, and Sheehan always has upside, plus the Yankees can strike out a ton, but there's a lot of power in that game. We're really looking at 3 pitchers on the slate, to be honest, because I'm not playing Ginn or Littell in that ballpark. Littell with home run issues, Washington just destroying pitching right now. And Grayson Rodriguez is somebody I don't want to have to rely on, but we might have to if we lose Sheehan and Weathers. So that leaves Skubal, Wu, and Webb. Those are the main 3. Skubal gets the best or second best strikeout matchup, however you want to phrase it. They've struck out the most in baseball, second most on a per game basis, and it is Tariq Skubal. So why not? I think we could see a double-digit strikeout game from Skubal, and he could still give up a home run or 2. A couple of the bats on the Angels have hit home runs off of him. A couple of them. Neto and Jorge Soler each have 2 home runs against Skubal in their careers. Brian Wu, kind of all over the place, but when he's at home, he's dominant. Like, these are some extreme home road splits. He's at home. I have to love him. Just 2 home runs allowed in 51 in the third home innings. So Wu's home road splits are so extreme. Logan Webb limped into the All-Star game after being selected as a replacement. Had a really strong stretch in June. Fell apart in July. Gets 10 days of rest. Home road splits aren't as extreme this year for him, so that's solid. Seattle struggling enough offensively for me. I think Logan Webb is easily the 3rd best pitcher on this slate. It doesn't take much, let's be honest, but if you want to consider Grayson Rodriguez, his best start of the season did come against Detroit. That's pretty much all I have to say about Grayson Rodriguez at this point. He's been atrocious at home, where he pitches this evening. But there we have it. There's a first look at the pitching options across 2 days' action. If you enjoy what I bring to you, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, turn the notification bell, and get the alert anytime we drop videos here at DFS Army. If you want to join us, get access to our coaches, tools, sheets, Discord, etc., I will drop links in the description below. You can use promo code RAZ, that's R-A-Z, for 10% off any MLB package, or Best Ball 2026 gets you 20% off any NFL or VIP membership. VIP, including the Core 4, does include baseball. Hit the comments. Let me know what you're doing with all this weather. Do you think Skubal is a lock, etc.? As always, best of luck, everybody.